roundtable addressing the current situation at the Point Blanche prison regarding its capacity. IS number 299-2024-2025, dated November 19, 2024. This meeting was requested by myself. The reason I requested this meeting is because I believe a roundtable closed-door meeting is needed to address the current capacity issues in the Point Blanche prison. Seeing that the Point Blanche prison is at its max capacity, the new prison, as the Ministry of Justice has brought forward, will hopefully be finalized in 2028. I believe that at present, seeing that the lack of space means that while sentences are imposed, they are currently not directly enforceable because of capacity issues, raising serious concerns about the effectiveness and integrity of our justice system. The consequences of this overcapacity extend beyond the prison walls. Potential criminals may feel emboldened, perceiving that they can commit offenses without facing meaningful consequences. Even when offenders are sentenced or suspended on the specific conditions, there are currently no effective enforcement measures if they fail to adhere to these conditions. There are also tools available in the law, but their impact is severely diminished in practice. While specific questions were posed to the previous Honorable Minister on June 28, 2024, and a response was provided, it still remains that the core issue remains unsolved. Given the recent developments concerning the construction of a new prison, I do believe it's important and essential to explore immediate options that can be implemented during this transition period. For the roundtable proposal, I would like to look for an out-of-the-box approach to identify innovative solutions that address these capacity challenges effectively. Additionally, in a closed-door session, this can be provided, and if necessary, it can also explore and provide candid discussions so that all feasible options can be discussed. Therefore, I would like to request attendance of the Honorable Minister of Justice, Mrs. Stacklin, and her support staff during a Central Committee closed-door meeting to discuss potential interim measures. To ensure a comprehensive and collaborative discussion, I also propose inviting the following key stakeholders to contribute their perspective and expertise. A representative from the Public Prosecutor of St. Martin, to discuss the implications for prosecuting and sentencing enforcement, a representative of the Point Blanche prison to provide first-hand insights on current capacity, operational challenges, and the impact on detainee management, a representative of the Ms. Lali Correctional Institute to discuss the overflow and also the effects and challenges specific to youth correctional facility, a representative of the Court of Guardianship to discuss implications for the juveniles within the justice system, and also a representative of the, I still have the old name written down, the Stichting Justitiële Inrichtingen, but I do know it's now called the YIS, to provide updates on current capacity and operational challenges within the detention facilities, and also especially in regards to suspension of sentences. By including these stakeholders, I believe a well-rounded understanding of the challenges and identifying the practical and collaborative solutions in an out-of-the-box method. So that is the motivation of the request for this roundtable.
Agreeing with the approach per se, but have you shared the proposal of the roundtable conference with the minister, and what was the minister's take on it? The approach, not that whether a roundtable or not, but the approach to have the minister in with her support staff and all of the persons or the institutions mentioned. Was that shared with the minister, and what was her take?
In regards to this topic, this wasn't shared because it's a new method. It was shared with the previous minister, so I don't know if this matter is, the current minister is known of this topic, so no, it wasn't shared. But that's why also seeing the importance and the sensitivity, I requested a closed door session because having it in an open door session, I don't believe that's the way to go about it, seeing the topics that will be handled. So therefore, I would like to, of course, receive the feedback of the ministry on it as well after the committee decides on the matter. And if the committee agrees with continuing with this request, then of course the minister will be informed and the minister will give her feedback on this topic.
May I suggest that you share the idea or the approach to the roundtable conference, roundtable discussion with the minister, just to understand if, given the different disciplines involved, if the minister is in favor of the large gathering or would prefer maybe a division in blocks of the disciplines involved.
This actually kind of ties in with the discussion we had with the closed door meeting. And I say, not to divulge the meeting, but it's when we have to pertain to the criminal code and understanding, like for instance, in Aruba, there is a proper procedure in their criminal code for early releasing and weekends out. And I say that to say this is not a St. Martin problem. An article just came out 10 minutes ago stating more than 4,000 convicted criminals in the Netherlands have avoided serving their prison sentence due to shortage of prison cells. So now in the Netherlands have the same problem. And it says more than 4,000, which means now, as you correctly stated, Madam Chair, this is not a prison problem, it's a St. Martin problem, because when crime goes rampant and people know that whether it's for certain robberies, pistols, you barely receive any prison time due to capacity, it creates a danger to society. So indeed, I think that this needs to be handled urgently. All stakeholders do need to be involved. It may be prudent to separate some just to gather advice, because a lot of us, a lot of the stakeholders may be on different sides of the coin, but once you gather that advice, then we know what direction we as a country would want to take. But I just wanted the people to understand that it's not just a prison problem, and by extent, it's not just a St. Martin problem, but even the Netherlands has problems. And I say that to say this: we now house prisoners in the Netherlands. If the Netherlands don't have space, is it just a matter of time before they say, hey, take back your baggage? And then what will we do then? So thank you, Madam Chair. I look forward to such a discussion with all stakeholders at the table.
The proposal is to organize a roundtable in a closed-door setting regarding this topic. The format of the roundtable will be discussed with the Minister of Justice, and thereafter the proposal overview will be sent to the members of Parliament for approval, and then we will move forward. Is there any objection to this way of handling? That does not seem to be the case. So I would like to thank all the members of Parliament for their participation. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of this meeting. I thank you all.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to SZP.SX and sign up now.
Your social health insurances.
One of the questions, how long has your organization been established? And I want to also ask, how many times have you given a presentation to Parliament and or government? And the reason I ask this is because I want to get an idea as to have you felt that your initiatives in engaging with government has been fruitful or fruitless? That's the gist of it. So I want to get a timeline as to when you were established and when you started to actually engage, because I do believe in one of your questions to government, the 60,000 guilders, that's allotted in the budget for agriculture. I do not believe that that's enough, and I believe that further incentives and investment from government can be given to agriculture. And in the recent talk, especially in our parliamentary meeting, there was a lot of discussion in regards to the recreational or medicinal use of cannabis and legalizing in St. Martin. But one of the things that I stated, and I firmly believe that when in my first tenure as a member of Parliament, one of the persons that came to Parliament and first gave their proposal as it regards to cannabis was the local farmers. And now I don't see that anymore. So I'm trying to get a grasp on, once again, we're having the possibility or the potential to uplift our own people in an industry that they have started many years ago, that have gone unincentivized, uninvested by government and or Parliament for that matter, where legislation is concerned, and now you have a potential for these same farmers to get a piece of this action. And to quote, to make a quote like Mr. Calmera said from the Bible also says, the stone that the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone. So, in essence of not recognizing or not being at the forefront of agriculture, and now here it is. I firmly believe that the local farmers should be in the forefront of this industry where cannabis is concerned.
I heard mention of utility bills and the cost and so forth. Has it been ever considered to use recycled water? And is it healthy? Has this been considered? When I talk about recycled water, I'm talking based on the wastewater treatment plant that we have. Is this, because I've always heard that this is good for agriculture. Is that the case or is not? If not, why not? Also, have you ever, through you, Madam Chair, have you ever applied for special rates, special utility rates, electricity and or water? If so, when was this done, and was it ever granted, or was any response ever given? My last point of clarification, when, as you see in the presentation, one of the questions and from Mr. Wyatt, 61,000 guilders is really, doesn't even scratch the surface in my humble opinion, as well as to what is needed to boost such an industry. I know that the government has been heavy on the campaign when speaking about this, and to me, 61,000 does not reflect the same energy. So I hope that we can foresee a change coming in the upcoming budget amendment whenever that takes place. Question on that point, through you, Madam Chair. Has a plan ever been submitted to government based on financials and what would be required in order to push this, this initiative?
Thank you, first of all, for your presentation. I think it was very clear. The concerns raised are definitely valid concerns as well. I think from Parliament's end as well, when we see that we actually have a committee that's solely dedicated to agriculture, says something that it is important to the House of Parliament to address these kind of issues as well. When it comes to education, it's something that's also dear to my heart. I know, Mr. Wyatt, you were busy early on as well with actually going into the schools and having commitments with that. I understood in your presentation that education is a concern as well. Has that slowed down from over the years, from when you first started? And if so, why is that? Are the schools taking over on their own initiatives? Or what was the cause of that? Or if not, the intention is, of course, to be in all schools because education from young is important, especially when it comes to these kind of topics and skills, to teach our children how to plant a seed, you know. I too have children, and then they come home with a little cup, they put a seed in, you know. Those are things that they teach from young, but of course on a greater scale as well, because I know some of the schools also have their own little gardens as well, where they are farming. So what is the vision? Has it grown since you first started? Have you slowed down, Mr. Wyatt, yourself, within the schools, and what was the cause of that? And what is the next step when it comes to education based on your vision?
And I want to start with a question regarding Parliament's intention for agriculture. And indeed, as indicated by myself and members of the cooperative, this year's theme, the parliamentary year's theme, is indeed agriculture and sustainable agriculture in particular. So what does this mean if Parliament selects a theme for its parliamentary year? That specific attention would be paid to the topic. How, you might ask? There is a parliamentary committee. We're sitting here this morning in a central committee meeting of Parliament, so all members are member of the central committee. In addition to that, we have working committees, which include one on agriculture, animal husbandry, and fisheries. So that committee of committees, it is expected that they would do like preliminary work for the Parliament. So eventually, when whatever matter moves from the committee to be its central committee or the public meeting of Parliament, that's the work of the committees. So with Parliament's theme for this year, it is to pay specific attention to that theme, whether it be in our committee, making visits, talking to persons, etc., etc. And so that is so for us in Parliament, overall, and this year in particular, sustainable agricultural practices is very important. Hence, our request to you to let us know what is the state today, and even more so, how can we move forward on the topic. The budget to which Mr. Wyatt referred, it is the budget as presented by the government, and which includes the budget post for agriculture. And I know it was quite lengthy, so I don't expect many of you to have been able to follow the discussions on the budget. This went on for days until, in some cases, early morning hours. However, the questions, and some of them raised by you today, have been raised by members of Parliament on the agriculture, the intentions for agriculture moving forward. What is the follow-up that government is given to the agricultural policy of 2022? And again, I don't expect you to have gone through the whole thing, but what I think would be helpful in your case is to pull out from the answers in writing given by government regarding this issue, to pull those out and acquaint yourself with what government has told the Parliament. So that is one thing that you can do, and the Agriculture Committee can assist you in this regard.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
Start in Sweden, where local news media are reporting several people have been killed in a mass shooting at an adult education college. Police have confirmed that at least 5 people, including a suspected shooter, suffered gunshot wounds. The college, which caters to young adults, is in the city of Örebro. That's in central Sweden, around 200 kilometres west of the capital, Stockholm. In a news conference, police said they cannot rule out the possibility of more suspects being at large and have asked the public to stay away from the area. Sweden's Justice Minister has described the attack as very serious and said the government is working closely with police. Well, earlier, police held a press conference and gave this update.
A number of people were found with gunshot wounds. One of the injured is a person who we suspect may be the perpetrator. We have opened a preliminary investigation into attempted murder, arson, and serious weapons offences. Going forward, we will focus on securing the area. So far, we have contained a number of other schools due to the fact that we are in an ongoing operation and a somewhat unclear situation initially.
Well, Jesper Bengtsson is editor-in-chief of the Swedish online journal Dagens Arena and joins us from Stockholm. Welcome to DW. Have you been able yet to establish a sort of timeline, a sequence of events?
Well, what we know is that around 12:30 there was an alarm to the police that there was shooting in the school in Örebro, and after that things probably happened quite fast. Around 2 hours later, it was clear that they had found a lot of injured people, and probably one of the injured is the attacker. And the Swedish media has reported about several deaths, and the police has not confirmed that. Actually, in the press conference, they said that there were wounded people, and they had opened an investigation about attempted murder. But if it was dead people found, it should be murder. So that's still quite unclear what's really happened here.
And what is known of the victims of this attack?
They were, as far as we know, students at this adult school, and 4 of them, that the police has said 5 people were wounded. 4 of them is then probably students at the school. That's all we know at this time.
And the suspected shooter?
We know very little about him. It's said that he's 35 years old. The police has searched through his apartment this afternoon, so they have quite fast located his whereabouts and where he was living. But they haven't said anything after the investigation of the apartment.
And this college, it caters to young adults?
Yes. Well, actually, adults. It's a school where people can complete their gymnasium examen, which is, well, if they haven't finished it when they were in school, during their youth days, they can do it in this school. And it's also a school where migrants can learn Swedish. And probably many of the students were, as we say, SFI students, Swedish for migrants.
Right.
And fortunately, they had some kind of exam today or yesterday, which meant that there wasn't many students left in the school this day. So that probably might have saved some people, actually.
OK. Detailed sketchy at this stage, but we thank you for filling in some of that detail for us, Jesper. Jesper Bengston in Stockholm. Thank you.
Let us not be arrogant and believe that species live on forever and will never become extinct, because we know that living species have become extinct. And let us not believe that our civilization is above all else, because we know that human civilizations have also failed. The routine that we have with the moral imperative that we give through religion and through our shared values must be enough to take us to the next level.
As a UNICEF youth advocate for the environment, my work educating others on climate action is recognized by her. The work that she has done has paved the way for me and others like me to fight the global climate crisis, and her individual support is invaluable. The Honorable Mia Amor-Motley and I can both agree on this point, that we only have one environment and we must protect it.